Welcome back to Passing Time with Craig. As always, I'm your host, Craig, and today we have gone international. That's right. Special episode where I got to talk with the wonderful, amazing Marcus Ryan, comedian extraordinaire from Australia. I met him several years ago at the Calgary Fringe Fest. He came on the podcast, the old podcast of Passing Time with Craig, and I just freaking adored him. Got to see his show, Eat, Pray, Walk, and kept in touch with him. Fantastic guy. So we're going to chat all about his time being a comedian, how he got into it, all that fun stuff, his show, traveling the world. He has been to 60 different countries on 6 different continents. So we're going to talk about all that, some dreams, some other things he can achieve, recent travels, what it's like to perform all over the world. It's a fun time. He's hilarious. There's going to be a lot of laughing from me, so I apologize in advance, but here's my chat with him. It's a great time. Marcus, I am so excited to have you on the podcast. I've been looking forward to this for so long. I met you well before COVID. Just thought you were the funniest people I've ever met, and just continue to follow you, your career. And so I appreciate you taking the time, finding the time, because you're down under. It's a little bit of time change right now.
It was a little bit of confusion. I thought to my time it would be too late for you to be up right now, but you work it all night.
Yeah, I literally just came from an event that I hosted, and I'm like, let's do this.
All right, so you're about to crash, and
you're gonna go.
I'm gonna go.
Yeah,
good.
You're my upper. I'm the downer.
Yeah.
It's just a nice mixed bag of, treats in Hollywood.
Yeah. No, it's been a long time, so thanks for having me. It's good to be back on and good to see you again.
Yeah, it's great to see you. So for people who are new to the podcast, new to you, I mean, you've been doing this. You started stand up back when you were 18. Like you went for it. What made you want to do it? What called you to doing stand up? What was it?
Originally, I think it was at that age, I didn't know I wanted to do it. I thought I wanted to be an actor or something. I had no grasp of what stand-up comedy was as an occupation. I got to see stand-up comedy live on TV. That was it, really. That was the only way. And then I didn't really see it live until I started trying it. So, it was and I kind of knew from the minute I did it. I said, I'm going to do this for a job. So, I don't know. Maybe I just didn't want to do anything else. Yeah. It's really hard to say that you know what you're doing, because I don't think anyone ever perfects it.
No,
you love it and you just have to do it. It's something inside you. So I just stuck at it, and through thick and thin, I keep coming back to it. So I don't think I ever left it, really.
Yeah.
There was that little hiccup when the world shut down, but
yeah, so again, we met before COVID. You came to Calgary Fringe Fest. You came on my podcast. I fell in love with you. I was like, this dude is one of my favorite humans to ever exist. You were only the third human I'd ever met, to be fair.
Third human,
yeah.
And also, I didn't need a visa. So when you said you fell in love with me, I mean, I was flattered, but I was fighting for a green card at the time. My Canadian status was fine.
Yeah.
So, all those puzzles, I wasn't.
That's fair.
You wasted them on me.
Such a waste. And then I went and saw your show, Eat, Pray, Walk, and I took a friend with me, and I was like, you're gonna love it. It's fantastic. I only just know the bare minimum about this man, and she loved it as well. It was fantastic. So that's when I first met you. This was pre-COVID, and then COVID happened, and
Yeah.
shit hit the fan, and you are a comedian who is international. You have performed in 60 countries in
Finally, 60.
and six continents.
I've been hanging on to like 58, 57, whatever it was, and then I I couldn't get it. I wasn't allowed to leave Australia, and I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
So I got to 60 actually just a few months ago. I was in Africa. So very cool, very cool.
Yeah.
A lot of hard work to be there, but it was nice to reach 60. Again, it's a little milestone that nobody really cares about. It's funny when I mean, if I do a live show, people say, "Oh, what's your credit? Like, how do you want to be introduced?" Because a lot of comedians, especially in the US and Canada, is like, the North American late shows are the thing. Like, oh, I've seen him on the Late Show, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
For me, I've worked in too many countries, and I don't have a TV credit as such. Like, I've been on lots of TV shows for interviews and things like that, but never really known. I'm not known in one place. So when I say, oh yeah, I've gigged in 60 countries, but no one really. That doesn't matter. Like,
So you never said I appeared on the Passing Time with Craig podcast from Calgary, Alberta? Weird.
I mean, that's a given. Everyone knows that. That's the kind of credit that goes without saying.
Yeah. Yeah, obviously.
If you're an international comedian, everyone's been on your podcast, right?
Yeah. So we're gonna talk a lot of stuff, but I did want to ask you, what was that, as not just an a person who is very international, travels around a lot, but just an entertainer. What was that like for COVID to shut everything down? Because you couldn't even, it wasn't just that you weren't able to travel to different countries. You couldn't even, there was a time where you couldn't even perform in any stand-up club, bar, or anything like that. You did transition to start a limo service, but
Yeah, and that still runs. That's a business that still works. So I have I for your listeners, I live in Victoria, Australia, and we had the longest lockdown in the world, they said.
wow.
Which, I almost take that as a, whoa, look at that. That's a good stat, but it was terrible.
Yeah.
We had 5 kilometer radius of our house that you weren't allowed to go outside. It was this imaginary bubble. Within that bubble, you were allowed one friend, I think it was, that you could meet with. It was kind of very strict in Melbourne City. But I I wasn't living in Australia. I was visiting my family when the world shut down. So I was in regional Victoria in the countryside. So it was a bit more flexible, but down there's much less to do as well. So when you're living in a country town and then your whole world shuts down, it was really good for friends of mine. Majority of people I grew up with who were tradesmen, say builders, and their industry boomed. Housing market that just went nuts. People were buying and building houses. So majority of people I knew from home didn't affect them at all. And in many ways, a lot of them had children and wives and kids. This whole lifestyle where they said, oh, wow, we get more time at home and our government's supporting us because our industry is valid.
Yeah.
When you're an artist who lives on the road, not only can you not perform anymore, you can't leave your hometown. You can't leave where you are. You can't perform. So your job's gone, your career's gone, and your livelihood. So also I was homeless, essentially. I was visiting my mother and father.
Yeah.
Many think that's like, oh, you feel that must be so, you're grateful. You're lucky you're at mum and dad's. And I was like, no, I didn't want to be. This is why I traveled.
Yeah.
It was nice to be there for a period, but it was like, it was hell for both of for them and
Yeah.
I couldn't survive. And probably the worst thing was the lack of empathy from not just the government, but there's people around you because they're like, oh, well, you just have to get another job. It's like, I worked for 20 plus years to build up a career, and overnight gone. So
Yeah.
yeah, the sad part was that, well, that's a very big sad part, but it took a long time to feel okay about having other work,
Yeah.
because you just don't want to go back to whatever. And then it took a long time to realize that it wasn't just me. It was everyone I knew was doing the same. So there was a kind of a validation, or a comfort knowing that, oh, every comic I've ever worked with, like even really well-known performers in Australia who, if someone watches them on TV, think, oh, they must be okay.
Yeah.
They were driving trucks. They were working, delivering food or whatever it was they did. I knew guys going back to work in supermarkets, pulling beers at bars, whatever they could do to get by. And some of them haven't come back to comedy either.
Yeah.
So
I mean, that's the thing is it was so interesting to me because COVID happened and everybody was immediately at home and all you saw people doing were talking about what they were binging and they were all watching TV shows and watching movies and I'm like, okay, so I want to make you realize that you're stuck at home during a pandemic and there's a tragic thing, this world catastrophe, but what is keeping you sane is entertainment. Don't
yeah,
forget about how important entertainment is. And so then
yeah,
when I was like, yeah, like for me, I'm like, this is, I don't get to host trivia in my events. And people are like, yeah, stuff's happening. I'm like, yeah, but you also seem to need me. Like, I know I'm not a huge priority. We want to make people healthy and safe, but like, you have been using us, the entertainers, to
yeah,
keep you sane during this time.
yeah. And that was I'm not sure what the your memory is of this, but in Australia we had quite drastic bushfires
Yeah,
in January 2020.
that's right.
And I think even pre-Christmas it was for quite some time, and it was quite devastating. And we thought, oh, that's going to be the worst thing to happen this year. And then 2 months later, everything shut down. But I was doing charity shows to raise money, like at the end of January, raising money and benefit gigs for bushfire victims. And then 2 months later, and that was musicians. They were doing big concerts, musicians, comedians. Everybody was getting on board in the arts world
Yeah,
to, help out the victims of bushfires. And that's what we do. We get called upon.
yeah,
It's it's like there's Batman. The bat signal goes up for someone needs saving, but when someone needs entertainment, can every artist do something for free? And it's like, yeah, we do it.
yeah.
But when we needed the help, it's like the government was like, no, your job is not,
No, it's not a,
we're
it's
not
not essential.
not essential. You get nothing.
Yeah,
The arts world was crushed, and again, even many of my close friends and family were like, no, just, oh well, other people have to get jobs, and I was like, yeah, but I'm just looking for a bit of love.
yeah,
Just
yeah. And that's just it. Just give some love.
a hug,
Yeah.
a hug. No, nothing.
So
I know you. Like,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Like, just give me
Like,
something.
like I've seen on your Facebook, you like BP. The For some reason you like their page. You don't even like my page. I mean, support me.
Yeah.
P doesn't need support. Like, why do you even? Oh man, but
They,
thanks for bringing hope again. By the way, 5 years ago,
yeah,
I feel like
you're
I'm
welcome.
slowly getting out of this. You dragged back into it.
I like to bring it up whenever I can. I feel like I don't know. Living in Alberta right now, it's a like dumpster fire. So I'm like, let me bring it to other countries.
Yeah, let's go back and let them relive trauma.
So let me ask you then. Okay, so you were like 18. You were thinking like, I want to perform, maybe act, and then stand up, and it was like, this is the thing. Where did traveling the world come to play? Was that like, oh, I'm gonna just go and perform in these different places, or did you want to see the world? Like how, like, because they go hand in hand. You're seeing the
Yeah.
world, you're traveling the world, performing, but you're seeing a lot more than a lot of people, and even just a lot of entertainers don't get to see as much as you get to see.
Yeah. We're being intruded by a woman, so she's
Oh, hello. Hello, Randy.
wants to be
She's like,
on Parks Time with Craig.
All the cats
So
do.
yeah, she'll go down. She gives me attention and then says, "Leave me alone. I don't need." She's basically me. She craves attention, and then when you get it, you're like, "Leave me alone. I don't want this.
yeah.
I'm introverted. Go away. Oh, feed me every now and again, please.
Yeah.
And clean up after." Well, I leave.
Well, I don't want to see your litter box.
No one does. I what was the question? Oh yes,
yeah.
this this is interesting. I never knew that I wanted to do comedy at that age.
Mhm.
I keep looking back and I think, oh, I must have been like 20 because I did my first gig. I was 20. I'll clarify that. But I recently, well, say 4 years ago, I went back. Actually, no, it was 2019. It was right before the pandemic.
Yeah.
My high school asked me to come and do a well, I don't know what you call it, like the graduation speech.
Oh yeah.
Or,
yeah. Commencement speech, I think. Yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, a lower version of throw that, kind of. But I went and spoke for the year 12 students, so graduating high school at my old school. So about 20 years after I'd attended school. And a few of the original teachers that I was taught by were still there. And backstage at the theater where where I did the talk and the graduation happened, one of my teachers came up to me and she reminded me of what I'd said to her when I was in year 10 or 11 or something.
Yeah.
So I was around 16, 17. And I think I was late on handing work in to her, some homework assignment, or she showed me something and said, "Oh, you need to fix this and go back and, this needs doing." And apparently I grabbed her by the face, like not in a, there's no assault charge, like a gentle kind of,
Yeah.
like I'm talking to someone that I love, like, "Hey, listen." And she told me almost word for word what I said from 20 years earlier.
Wow.
I grabbed her and I said something to her like, "It's okay. I know what I'm doing. I'm going to be a comedian. I'm going to travel the world and make a living doing it.
Wow.
Don't worry about me."
Really?
She said that. Said I told her this at that age, and I have no recollection of this. I mean, it's great that she remembered to tell me this.
Yeah.
And I wish I knew that. I wish she'd told me like a few years later or 5 years later, because it never sunk in. I was like, oh wow, I wish I knew that I was so confident of knowing that.
Yeah.
At that age. But I guess I did, and I manifested it perhaps. I didn't know at that age that I said I was going to travel the world doing comedy. I knew that I felt stuck. I was in a small town.
Yeah.
Classic story. You want to get out. You feel a bit claustrophobic. And so I moved to Melbourne, which is the big city. But then it was terrifying. But even then, once I got used to that, I knew I needed to get out and see the world. So I was quite naive, quite a young, country kid who had no idea about the world. And
Yes.
As soon as I took my first flight, I was in love. And I just traveled the world since.
Who are you watching? Who are you listening to? And probably not just comedians, just based off the fact that you wanted to travel and see the world. Like, what was that as you were growing up that was going into your brain that whole time that, like, this might be something I want to do?
I think Billy Connolly, who's one of the greatest storytellers out of Scotland, comedian, but he's a storytelling comedian and amazing. He had a lot of travel comedy shows that were shown on television in Australia. Now, keep in mind that we didn't have streaming services or access to cable many of those kind of things.
Yeah.
We just had 5 channels, whatever it was, whatever came on, and you didn't have money to go out and buy DVDs or videos of people.
Yeah.
I didn't do a lot of reading besides school books. So, my family I have 3 brothers, so we were busy playing sport and working on the farm, doing things. So I wasn't big on reading or watching programs, and even programs you could only watch what was on TV.
Yeah.
So, and we had one TV, so that was whatever Dad chose. That's what you watched.
Yeah.
So we watched the news a lot, and that was about it. But I remember seeing Billy Connolly do these travel shows, and he would he'd have a tricycle, like a motorbike trike.
Yeah.
And he rode around Australia, and he'd showed clips of his stand up, but then it showed him visiting small towns. So there's always these kind of lifestyle travel shows that I thought, oh, that'd be a cool job. Travel the world or travel around doing stuff and saying silly things. And I think that kind of got in my head. But then I started reading Bill Bryson books, who, was a very funny travel writer, still is. And that kind of got me a bit excited about travel writing. And so I think just the idea of travel and performing comedy came together. But it wasn't until 2 or 3 years into comedy where I got to go overseas for the first time and perform comedy. And as soon as I did that, I was like, oh, this is not such a scary thing after all.
So wait, where was the first country you went overseas to perform in? And you were like, I can do this, but was the audience receptive?
I can't recall if they were receptive because I was drunk the entire time. I got invited to the
Perfect.
Edinburgh. Yeah, I know. It was the Edinburgh Fringe.
Oh, well, everybody's drunk there then.
I know. I mean, I was 23. I got invited to come over. So there was 5 of us in a show where we did 8 minutes of comedy each kind of thing a day. We had to go out and hand out flyers. That was our deal. Free accommodation. We got paid like £5 a day as an allowance kind of thing. No money for the show extra. That was it. So that paid for a kebab and chips or something.
Yeah.
And then you just stayed and drank and drank and drank. So, and you performed 8 minutes a day. I didn't network. Like in my mind, I was just there for that 8 minutes.
Yeah.
Now I've been back to Edinburgh since, and you do all these other guest spots and trying to get on shows and things. And I do 1-hour shows there. But back then it was like, oh yeah, 8 minutes, that's easy. And then we just, I'd turn up drunk before the gig, get drunk after. 25 days of drinking and late nights and partying. And apparently I met lots of famous people and actual like well-known promoters and people who gave me business cards because business cards were a thing back then.
Right.
I said, oh, if you ever come down to London, get in touch. And I would turn up in that same bar the next night and see those same people and have no memory of meeting them. I remember I've got some good friends I made out of that, and they said, oh yeah, I think there was some really profile contacts. I'm like, yeah, well, ruined the career options there.
Yeah.
The whole idea of networking wasn't on my radar. It was like a holiday, and I thought, oh yeah, this is so fun. And unfortunately, every Edinburgh Fringe since then has not been as fun because I realized it's a work opportunity. It's a place to network. It's a place to try and get reviewers or agents to see you, and it never felt like that carefree fun thing anymore.
Yeah,
unfortunately,
it's one of the bigger ones for sure.
It's the biggest in the world.
Do you remember what your first set was about?
I think it was. I wasn't traveled. I wasn't well versed on the world, so it would have been as most teenage turning 20-something comedians who are male, we haven't lived.
Yeah.
We've got nothing. No, we've got nothing to tell the world.
No,
one cares what
no.
to say. Unless you've that kind of bright spark of Eddie Murphy who comes out and does a Delirious or whatever at 21, that kind of thing. But we're just up there doing dick jokes and talking about masturbating or whatever, the classy stuff.
Yeah. Nothing.
And
The same thing you give at like your grandmother's eulogy, right?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that went down well.
Yeah.
Uh, no, I think it was. I think as I started doing comedy, it was a lot of one-liners, a lot of short jokes. Because I was at that age, I was nervous to have silence in an audience. In my mind, I'm like, oh, I need laughter, laughter, laughter. So I did a lot of short, sharp observations, a lot of gags that hopefully got a laugh pretty quickly. And there was no substance to it. There was not a lot of depth. It was all very quick puns and whatever. And then so years later, it becomes you get more confident to have control of an audience. So then you can actually tell a story and be a bit more able to take them with you on a journey. So, but back then, I think, yeah, I have no memory of what the jokes were. I could probably pull out an old set. I'd like to. I've got them. I've got old sets on handwritten stuff.
Yeah.
And I cringed to read them because I know how bad it is, and also of the time of like, some of the jokes are probably like growing up in a country town. It's like you said things that were inappropriate, and
Yeah.
you're like, oh right, we're evolving.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm proud to know that I've become a storyteller and following in people like Billy Connolly's steps and that kind of thing because I love being able to take people and twist them and throw in silly gags every now and again, but just have fun with storytelling more so.
Well, that's what I loved about your show, Eat, Pray, Walk. Like, I just thought it felt so natural. It felt like a stand-up set, and if people are really people have no idea how a stand-up set work, especially a headliner. It's all it's got to flow. They've got a plan. Yes, sometimes an audience member changes things and they decide to do something kooky,
Yeah.
but it goes back to it. So when did you like know that you wanted to do that long format, tell a story, and um specifically like that walk that you did, because that's what your story is about. Why did you know that this was the one that was going to be that show that you've done for several years now?
I didn't, and I didn't want to do it for several years. It's unfortunately a show that I'll probably do for another 20 years. It's become its own thing, and that's really amazing because it's I'll probably retire off it. No, it's a show that the joke for me right now is that I tell people, for those who don't know, the Camino de Santiago is, it's this pilgrimage, and the average age of people that walk it would be around 65 to 70 plus, maybe.
Yeah.
So and I'm in my late 20s now. So, I've said to people that, I could probably keep doing this show for another 20 years and I'll be at the average age of people who actually walk the Camino. So I'll have more relevance.
Yeah.
It's a show I didn't honestly, when I did the walk, I hadn't known much about it. I didn't know a lot of the history. It's traditionally a religious pilgrimage, so it wasn't my thing. I did it for something to do, and I like to, be by myself. So I thought, walking across Spain for a month, that's good. Just clear your head. And the grasp of how big the community is of people who do the Camino, but also pilgrimages and walks all over the world, that it's growing more and more. So when I came up with the idea to do the show in Melbourne, I was actually really worried that no one would have heard of it. And also, why would anyone want to come and see a show about a guy that walked across Spain?
Yeah.
It was kind of tedious at the time doing it. And also, the idea of talking about it was like, this is not entertaining. But I've done the show now nearly 90 times in 10 countries, and it's won awards. It's touring all the next year in Victoria, in Australia. I'm taking it to different festivals, and it's I'm in the process of making a book out of it, and it'll get taken to theaters more and more now. So the the concept of making this show something more than it was, I had no idea that this would happen.
Yeah.
It's outgrown myself.
Yeah, it's impressive. It's crazy. Like I mean, the walk itself is impressive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now to then have the show be
Yeah.
what it is must be something else.
I keep thinking about it. I rewrite the show all the time.
Yeah.
Like the show evolves every time I perform it. There's something new comes up, and I'm like, oh, that's a better way to talk about that, or to end things, or and that's going to keep happening too, because I'm used to doing it myself. Like when I did a show in Calgary, it's, I turn up, I have to set up the projector screen and plug things in, and you've got 10 minutes to get this and that and pack down. Now I'm doing it in theaters where there's a sound person, there's tech, there's someone's doing the tables, and I'm going to be working with people who can help me with the slideshow. So I'll actually have more input on creating it into a bigger thing than it is. I've got a set now, which is cool. So I can actually confidently sort of go out there and say, yeah, this is a theater piece. This is not a stand-up show.
Yeah.
But it's more of a theater show. And it's not Marcus Ryan does Eat, Pray, Walk. It's Eat, Pray, Walk starring Marcus Ryan, because it's its own show now. So and it's got a community as well. There's people who want to engage, and I think that's the real nice thing about the show, is that it's brought people together.
And
people who don't know about the Camino enjoy it. People who do love it, they want to talk and interact afterwards. It's a good community engagement, and something I never would have thought to say, but it comes my way now as in reviews, and people say afterwards, is that it's inspiring and has motivated people. So there's a lot of potential for this show to reach a bigger audience and do good things for people too, which is really sweet.
Yeah.
So I still get to do silly jokes in there that are immature, but at the end of the day, I'm actually helping make a difference for some people. And it's awkward though sometimes.
Yeah.
People come up and cry, and they want to hug you afterwards and share their story. And sometimes you're like, all right, well, thanks.
Thanks. I was gonna grab another beer, but
I'm just gonna let go. Please.
yeah.
It's nice. It's really beautiful that you can make a difference in people's lives, and sometimes you just never know what people are going through, and some people need that. So
Yeah. And
I'm grateful for it.
I mean, I talk about all the time how much comedy is so great and important. We touched on it with COVID, and how people were watching these things that they rewatched Friends, The Office, Seinfeld. They watched all these things over and over again to help them cope. And that's what comedy does. And I love that. And so, you've done this show. You also do stand-up comedy. We mentioned 60 countries, 6 continents. I'm going to guess the only continent you haven't performed in is Antarctica.
I know it. It's killing me because
the penguins would love you.
I know, and penguins are they're on the logo of my chauffeur business too. So
that's right. So when you are doing stand-up around the world, 6 different continents, how quickly do you adjust? Do you find you have to adjust jokes or stories based off of the crowd, the country, whatever it is, languages, whatever it may be?
Yeah, you do have to adjust, especially if you're in a country where certain things aren't allowed to be talked about on stage. I was in Uganda and Kenya and Tanzania. They're the most recent 3 countries I've worked at. And I did a workshop in Tanzania on the first stop I was on. And I spoke to a bunch of the local comics, and they were asking me about, well, it's okay for you in Australia. You can freely talk about things, but we can't talk about the government negatively on stage. And it's illegal to be homosexual in most of those countries. The ones I just mentioned, I believe. And so there's a lot of danger about saying the wrong thing, even as a visiting performer. I know I've got friends who've had ran comedy clubs in China, and they had their venue shut down I'm aware of a mate of mine in Kuala Lumpur. His comedy club got shut down because someone who was on the show did something inappropriate, and the government shut them down. So I don't take it lightly. I do my research, and I also want to know, what I can and can't talk about, and I don't want to offend people. On another level, you've got to make sure you've done the work to find out if certain things are relevant, because I don't want to get up there and brag about airline food or something like, hey, what's the deal with, which most countries you would think, oh, that's standard comedy fobber. But if I'm doing that to an audience in Uganda, for example, who are local, they might not have ever been on a plane.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't want to come across like I'm bragging that I've been to these different countries, but that's my life story. So you've got to relate in some way without being obnoxious, and you've also got to, even simple references. Like I wouldn't want to go somewhere and talk about Starbucks if they've never had a Starbucks there, or any kind of cheap joke that has no reference. So yeah, you've got to do the research.
You also gotta do the research and do more than just the base research, because I have found when we have a lot of comedians come here, and most recently this year, beginning of this year, there was 2 amazingly big, huge international comedians from the UK came over here. I got to see them. I had such a blast. Was also a little stoned, so it really elevated the whole experience.
There you go.
Great
What's
time.
Stoned? Do your research. I don't know what stoned is.
Oh,
Can you
sorry.
explain that?
Smoking the marijuana, is that?
No, we don't have illegal anything in Australia.
Oh yeah, that's right. Sorry. Well, it's very legal here.
All right.
And they're great, and I love them. They've made me laugh so many times before, and they made me laugh during their performances. But they both, and they were in Alberta, so I get the point, but they both made jokes, and actually the opener as well. All 3 of them made jokes about Trudeau doing blackface, which, yes, he did. He did do that, and that's shitty that a former Prime Minister of Canada, as a youth, did blackface. It's crappy.
Yeah.
But that was their only, kind of local topical joke, and I was just like, come on, guys. We have a lot worse things. There's more things you can make fun of. So, I mean, sometimes you want to dig a little deeper, because I've had some comedians come in from different countries, and they found something specifically about Calgary that I'm like, well done.
Yeah. And those comics were from the UK, were they?
Yeah.
Those ones? Yeah. You'd think they would have a bit more insight as well, I would have thought, with the Commonwealth. But hey, listen, they're not as good as me. And
they're not.
What I do for my research is I go and live in Canada and catch buses across Saskatchewan when the buses were open. I know Greyhound shut down, so I know my research.
Well, what was your favorite part about living in Canada?
Not how expensive it was to have a mobile phone.
Is it that bad in Australia?
No, the data, like to have a cell phone in Canada was so expensive.
Oh yeah, it's bad.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Like to have a gigabyte of data, it's like, oh, there's $80 plus tax plus it was stupid. So I mean, I loved Canada for Timbits. They were great. Ice caps. I think
this episode's sponsored by Tim Hortons.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. I mean, I loved Canada because it was the nature. I just wish I was into hiking more at the time when I lived in Canada, because my real love of hiking sort of came from after doing the Camino, which again is something that I didn't see coming. It's like, oh wow, now I genuinely want to go and do outdoor adventures.
Yeah, you have been doing so many, I mean, you just mentioned about being in Africa, doing a major hike.
Yeah, I climbed. That was the main reason to go there, was to climb Mount Kilimanjaro.
Yeah.
And and so I did that. I reached the summit, which is amazing. It's the high. I don't need to tell your audience because they're all very intelligent people. But
Yes.
for the one person who's tuning in, Kilimanjaro is the highest. The one person who doesn't know, I guess. Not the one. You've got more than one viewer. The one who doesn't know, it's the highest freestanding mountain in the world, and it's the largest one in Africa. But yeah, it's one of the 7 summits or whatever you call it. It's around 5,895 meters was the height.
Let me tell you, and this is to the listeners who listen to this podcast and also going to my trivia nights, the people I have asked you before, the highest mountain in Africa, and there's been a lot of teams over the past 6 years of trivia who has gotten that question wrong. So
really,
yeah.
I mean, there's great songs about it too.
Yeah,
it's referenced in songs. So anyway, I mean, I didn't know much about Tanzania until I was there, so it's not a thing that you need to know unless you're in it. But it was an amazing experience, and now I'm planning to do Everest Face Pack. I haven't told. This is like, we could probably say breaking news. Like, I'm dropping it on your show.
Wow.
So I'm going to be trekking to Everest Base Camp later this year.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, next month. It's now October, so it's actually just over a month from now.
Wow. So okay, how did you prep for Kilimanjaro, and is that the prep for Everest?
Yeah, I think so. About 6 weeks before Kilimanjaro, or 2 months before, maybe I stopped drinking beer. I cut beer out of my diet. And every now and again I'd have maybe one drink, but I was very, very adamant that I wanted to be as fit as possible, because we're at sea level. I live at sea level in Australia, and altitude sickness is a very dangerous thing. And so I knew I had no chance to really properly acclimatize leading up to it. So I thought, if I can be as fit as possible, at least I cancel out the being short of breath for being just lazy or like not fit. So I started running a bit. I was doing some 5-kilometer little runs and jogs, but I couldn't. There's not much you can do otherwise for the altitude, but just be on top of it fitness wise. So I went there with a clear head. I was pretty confident, knowing that I was, feeling fit. And I had no issues whatsoever with the altitude. So I saw lots of people who did, and it's a very dangerous thing. Like, people die from it. It's a lot of people don't make it to the top. They give up. And fitness wise, I felt great. So I think that's what spurred on the Everest thing. I met a German buddy. I met this German guy in Peru about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And we had been on the same tour to Machu Picchu. And he messaged me not long after I had done the African trip, and he said, "Oh, hey, I'm going to be in Nepal in November. Do you want to meet up?" And I was like, "No, not really. I've just been done in Africa." And then I've just realized, like, you know what? This is as fit as I'll probably ever be.
Yeah.
I'm running a lot. I know that I can handle the altitude, because Everest is actually shorter than Kilimanjaro.
Oh.
It's not as high. The Everest base camp.
Right.
Everest, the summit, is the highest in the world.
I was like, I just marked a lot of trivia questions wrong.
No, I've just ruined everyone's. No, come on, I think Everest is the tallest. Everest is the tallest mountain, but
you have that Trump mentality. You're just like, no, this is what.
I'm pretty sure Mount Rushmore, Trump Tower, the tallest. Well, I don't even want to do his impression. Everest Base Camp is 5,300 meters, and I reached 5,900. So, to know that I could do, and I've spoken to people as well. Like, this is, you start having friends who all of a sudden become, your network changes.
Yeah.
When I did just comedy, I was out hanging out with friends who got drunk, and that was it. People did drugs. That was comedy. It's like, yeah, yeah. And now I get people message me, oh yeah, I did this trek, I did this hike, and people talk about your fitness. And so I've been told by several people that if you can do Kilimanjaro quite easily or confidently, base camp is supposedly a lot easier in Everest. So I just figured, and I looked up flights, and I know I have a little window of time where I can actually afford to go there time wise, that it works out. And so I thought, yeah, why not? Like I don't want to wait for another year,
Yeah.
and then maybe my body shuts down, or maybe I've got a knee injury or something. There's 2 times a year where it's really good to go to Everest. One's around March to April-ish, one's in October, November. So, and I'm touring my show all of next year. I need to be kind of as available as possible to perform. And I thought, well, now's a good time to do it. And leading into the show, it'll be really good for my promotion as well, I suppose, but also have some extra stories to tell.
Yeah. That's amazing. I'm so excited for you. That's so cool.
Yeah, I haven't really told my family. So.
So-
I mean, they'll see it when they watch it.
yeah, exactly. They'll find out very soon.
Right.
So I mean, you just mentioned about like comedy scenes and doing shows and drinking and drugs. Like we know that's a thing, but what is the high you get performing and the high you get just traveling? Like, is it similar? Do you have different things? Is it nice to do, go to a different country, go to a festival like the Fringe Fest, Calgary Fringe Fest, Edinburgh Fest, and do Eat, Pray, Walk? Or is it similar to when you just are in Tanzania and just gonna do a stand-up act that night?
Can you just say that country name again?
No. I know. I said that really. That was
You did a Trump talking about
Tanzania.
because Azerbaijan.
I know I said it. I was like, "Fuck, the worst person to have on my podcast," because other guests would not call me out for it.
Trump was at Buckingham Palace, or it was with King Charles, and he mentioned that they'd stopped the war between Azerbaijan and Albania or something, and it was actually another country that was nowhere near Albania, and Azerbaijan. So anyway, that was you just trumped that one. So
Yep, I did. Thank you.
you're welcome. I think the thrill of going to new countries for me is just I never get sick of it. I love waking up in foreign countries, finding out. It's a little challenge. It's almost like a little as a kid doing an Easter egg hunt, or like something where you have to go and solve a puzzle or do some kind of, what are the clues? And for me, that's keeping that childlike naivety of a new place, and you stay alert as well. Like, I've landed at a new airport. Okay, so how do I get to the center of town? All right, how do I manage the public transport? Like, what's the way to deal with greeting people, and what can I eat? And I mean, a lot of this stuff you get to know before you go now because of the beauty of apps and the internet.
Yeah.
But it does take a lot of the early travel stuff out of the way. I used to travel with a big fat Lonely Planet, and you had to go through the book and find out where to go. But now it's you can have a SIM card on your phone ready to go. You've got language stuff on your phone, so it's a lot easier to travel now. But there's still the excitement and dangers and the feeling of like, what happens next? But that for me is exciting. And now, of course, I love doing new adventures everywhere I go. So I don't travel just for the sake of traveling. I travel with purpose. I travel to put on a show at a new country or ones I've been to already. Take my original shows to festivals, and there's something I get out of it each time. I mean, coming back from Africa, I was exhausted though.
Yeah.
It's very draining. Yeah.
Why was it draining?
Everything runs a bit slow there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, everything's a bit. As someone said to me, being in Africa is almost like it being on a dating app. Being like you get catfished,
Oh.
but by Africa. It's like when you go on a date and you look at their picture and their profile, it's like, oh yeah, they've got all their teeth and they have a job. They seem to be everything seems to be a bit good. Oh, and then you meet them, you're like, you are not this. No, you're totally missed. That's a 10-year-old photo. So it's not a 10-year-old as in a child, as in earlier. Let's clarify that one.
Yeah,
Straight.
I don't make sure.
I was looking for a 12-year-old. Thank you very much. Africa has that kind of thing. You go to a hotel, and these are first world kind of problems as well.
Yeah,
and things you just deal with living there too. I met a lot of local expats who live there, and they got to tell me, no, you just get used to it. No one's ever on time. You plan a meeting or with an agency, a tour group to pick you up at 7 a.m. and they get there at 7:45. And you've been up since 6 or 6:30 ready to go.
Yeah.
And they turn up and there's no apology, not even an acknowledgement that they're 45 minutes late. They're just like, morning, ready to go. And you're there going, what happened? There's no, that's it. Until you go to a hotel and, the room you booked had a TV or air conditioning and you get in there, none of that works. And you're like, ugh. And they go, yeah, what, did you want that? I'm like, yeah,
yeah, that's kind of why I got this room, but that's fine.
Like a 12-hour bus ride turns into 20 hours. You're like, yeah, that's just what it is. Good luck. Good luck complaining. Good luck getting your money back. Just deal with it. So 5 weeks of that was, it adds up, and you really sort of you get a bit drained.
And those nights, are those the nights where you're like, I'm just going to bed, or are those the nights where like, I'm gonna find an open mic night and I'm gonna go?
No. I always get people ask me, and they say, "Oh, how did you get the gigs?" I'm like, "Well, most of them I arrange. Like the good thing actually in South America, I ran most of the gigs I did, but the gigs in Africa, there is a good little scene there, but I was like I was the feature act at every show I did, and I only wanted to do 1 or 2 shows over there. I ended up doing 10 shows, 5 in Tanzania, 3 in Nairobi or a couple in Joburg. It was very busy, and I think that kind of took over my trip. It became a work trip, and I was exhausted from that as well. I was doing a lot of admin for shows in Australia. I had a tour back in Australia afterwards, and so I was trying to find Wi-Fi everywhere, which is a disaster. Trying to keep up to date with time zones, doing work for home, plus being there promoting shows and doing interviews and social media, and then trying to be relaxed and actually enjoy my time as well. So when the world doesn't help you, like, Africa's, oh, that's right, there's nothing open now, or the power just went out, or there's no running water all of a sudden. So it was exhausting, but I mean, what an experience. I always have to tell myself how lucky I am that I get to experience it. And every time I get angry at somebody for screwing you over, it doesn't mean, it's like, Marcus, just pull your head in, be grateful. And I was very grateful.
Well, I mean, that's one of the things I love about you. I think you're so funny. I enjoy following you on Instagram because everything you're doing, and you do keep such a nice, positive, grateful vibe about you. And I think that's something that a lot of people have lost out on, is gratefulness. And I think it's so important to appreciate and realize what's happening towards you. So that's what I think you're so fantastic. And I'm just so glad that we got to reconnect and you could come on my podcast. Like you're hilarious and you're so awesome.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you. I mean, you just don't know what's around the corner. That's the thing. Like, COVID happened and it ripped us apart. So I think also that motivated me to want to keep traveling, because I was like, I spent 30 years in lockdown. I started a new business from scratch, which to survive, and that became a thing. And I realized, like, I don't want to be in that position again where I can't get out and do what I want to do.
Yeah.
Or just give it up for whatever reason, because I don't, I love doing what I do. I love giving back to perform and raise money for charities when I'm doing certain events and things, and helping others who don't get the chance. And I've had people say that they live vicariously through me, which is nice. But I do it for myself and to see the world. But when you know that people who are in a different life situation than you are traveling through you in a way, it's kind of like, all right, well, I guess I'm stuck doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's a lot cheaper for us to just watch you on Instagram do what we'd like to do, as much as we'd like to travel. But I'm going to Europe in February. I'm going to Paris and Amsterdam, places I've never been before. And I definitely was like, channeling Marcus. He does these things. He goes to what he wants to try and see and do. And that's what I'm doing. And you came to my mind when I was like, I booked these trips. I found great flights. Let's do it.
I mean, I think the next thing for you is, and I'm hoping you already know this, but looking up podcast festivals where you can take your podcast and be a part of that, or at the very least, taking your gear and interviewing people on location. I mean, to do one of your episodes in Amsterdam or Paris with a local comedian or actor or whoever of interest that you'd like to interview. I mean, do it. Don't just go there and be on holiday. Like, get something out of it that's rewarding for you inside, because I know you're writing it.
Yeah. I'm literally like, that's genius.
I mean, you can watch and listen back to that. But yeah, I think that's what's really good about it, is you can go there and go, all right, I take something and give back something as well. So, yeah. But being a part of those things is rewarding, because you might go to Paris and just eat all the pastries and drink all the wine, but you might leave going, oh, that would have been nice to have connected with local comedy scene and find out what they do or whatever it is you want to reach out to.
No, I love that idea. This is what I appreciate about you. I mean, there's so many things. I think you're fantastic, and you have a good view on the world, and you're enjoying it. And so, as we start to wrap up here, need to know: do you is Antarctica that last goal? I mean, you probably have a lot of goals, but to have 6 out of 7.
I know, isn't it annoying? And I think also it's like there was a speech that Jim Carrey, you might have heard of this guy. He was an actor.
Okay, sounds familiar.
In America,
probably over there. Yeah.
Anyway, he I think he got introduced. It's a pretty well known clip, I think, online. But he was presenting an award at a MTV Awards or something, and the voiceover introduced him as, please welcome to present the next award, Jim Carrey, 2-time Emmy Award winner or whatever he was, right?
Yeah.
And then he came out and he goes, yes, 2-time award winner, not 3-time, and 3 is when I'll be happy. Like, it was like that thing of, when are you ever content?
Yeah.
Oh, he's only 2-time award winner, so he really laid into it with a lot of beauty, because it's that thing of, how do we validate success, or where are we, what's enough?
Yeah.
And then every time I get to a new country, for me, it's like a little drug, I've got, oh yeah, another one I can put a pin in the map.
Yeah.
But if I get to 69, I'll be like, yeah, that's fun. Hilarious.
Yeah. That's definitely one to stop.
I die at 69, I'll go that as a 69 countries, but also at the age of 69, I'll go, that is just, perfect mic drop. I'll love that. But I don't know. Will I be content if I get to 74 countries and not 75? I don't know. There's that feeling of I'm just going to keep doing it for what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I enjoy the process of finding new countries to go to, finding a way to perform somewhere. I think that's a big part of it too, is like the challenge of going to some random country that's never had comedy in English before and setting it up and finding a way to do it. I also just like, trying out new cultures and things like that as well. So it's the feeling of engaging with these people and learning how it works there. But I don't know. I think Antarctica is like that.
Yeah.
That's the goal.
That's one for sure.
I've researched base stations. There's an Australian scientific base station there that there's about 20 full-time people living there. I thought if I can get on a cruise that gets there and I'm allowed to get off, or do I have to go? And there's jobs there where you have to go live there for 3 months as a volunteer. And I'm like, well, that's one way. So that's on the cards. That's not out of the question.
Yeah.
And then maybe that's it. If I get to the 7th continent, that'll do. I'll probably freeze to death in Antarctica anyway.
Yeah. I mean,
do something different and we'll go for a walk.
Yeah, you're like, you know what? I've done a lot of walking lately. This seems like I should do this right now.
Yeah. What's that? Is that a bird? Oh, it's a polar bear. All right.
Oh, Marcus, this has been an absolute pleasure. I really appreciate you taking the time to come on the podcast and chat with me because you were the best and this has been a blast.
You're welcome. I didn't know we'd talk about Robert Irwin to finish, but I think what I now am going to have to do, I got to take notes too. Sex sells, Robert Irwin naked. I'm going to have to promote my next tour just in my underwear with an animal around.
You know what? We'll probably do.
If that's the older Camino audience, I think they'll love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I in polls. You just covering up.
You have so many different opportunities there. Lots of fun things you can do. You mentioned you're doing a tour. I noticed on your website November 1st is like a big one.
Yeah, big one in Geelong in Victoria. I'm running a half marathon next in 2 weeks now. I've started running, so that's a thing. So that's exciting. I'll be raising money for a Peter MacCallum Cancer Centre. So that's, people who are watching can watch my social media. I'm doing it in costume because I'm an idiot. And I may very well die of heat exhaustion. But either way, it's going to get some attention for the charity, which is nice.
Yeah.
And then the next gig after that will be in Kathmandu. Because that's normal. To do a show in Nepal.
And I have a lot of listeners there, so they're going to all go there.
Yeah, of course. But yeah, I'll be touring around Australia for most of next year and hopefully bring the show back bigger and better to Canada. Yeah. I haven't been to Canada for quite some time, so it's we have to sort of lay low while there's a bit of stuff going on downstairs from Canada.
Yeah, that's very fair. I get that, especially when you're like, I'm not going to there, but I'm going to Canada. Oh, but the layover is.
Yeah,
I get that.
I mean, they don't understand the difference between the countries. Immigration there's like, why are you in North America? It doesn't, leave me alone.
Yeah.
So but I'll be back.
What is your hope for 2026 then?
I actually wrote it on. I have a whiteboard because I have ADHD and I need to write things down.
I get that.
I wrote today on the whiteboard just this morning. Actually, I wrote that I want to publish a book next year.
Wow.
So I always put it off, and I get people to say, "Oh, when are you going to write a book about certain things?" And the Camino show has. I wrote about it every day. I walked the Camino, so it's like a diary of sorts. But I'm going to be taking the show on tour even more. So having a book of my story, to be able to have as merch as well, which is nice. But also just have something that I can hold and go, yeah, I've created that because every live show you do, it's got its own little. Oh, that was exhausting. That was amazing, and then it's over. Yeah. Dopamine rush is gone. But to be able to have a physical something there to go, wow, that's my bricks and mortar. I can see that, and once I get that out of the way, like that's a big challenge for me to be able to actually sit down and get something like that done. So running a full marathon and publishing a book, they're my two big challenges for 2026.
Those are some big challenges. Great challenge.
Not at the same
Not at the same time.
running and typing.
I
That'd be
mean,
a good world record.
yeah.
Who could publish the book while they've just run a marathon?
I mean, you'd get a lot of press for it. It might not be a great book, but like a lot of press.
There were a lot of typos.
Talk about ADHD. I think I've had like 4 different endings for this conversation.
Yeah.
But it's been just a pleasure and joy. Everyone go check out It's Marcus Ryan on Instagram. Find out all the fun stuff about him.
I'll see you all soon in Canada. Hopefully, hopefully we stay safe, and we'll see you on the other side.
Yeah, and good luck with the Mount Everest Base Camp.
Yeah, follow along. Give me some tips if you've been there. I'm always up for interacting and getting people to, I need advice. I'm not a pro. I'm just a fool that travels.
Just a fool that travels. There's your tagline. Thank you, Marcus Ryan, for being on the podcast. I really appreciate it. I enjoyed every moment chatting with you. You are such an inspiration, just traveling the world, entertaining people. Again, I mentioned it. Laughter is so important. Comedy is so important. What he's doing is great stuff, and I'm so excited to watch him. Follow him on social media. It's Marcus Ryan. Follow him on social media at It's Marcus Ryan, as he's going to not Kilimanjaro. He was just there. Follow him on social media at It's Marcus Ryan as he goes for Everest Base Camp. This is astounding. And as he travels the world, does more shows, performs, make sure to check it out. If you get the chance to ever see him, do so. And just follow him and support him because he's a funny guy. And just follow him and support him because he's a funny guy and he's great. So thank you once again, Marcus, for being on the podcast. Make sure to follow me on social media at PTW Craig, Passing Time with Craig on Facebook or Instagram for all the fun ways to pass time. Otherwise, we'll chat soon. Bye.